why have we been programmed to believe that what God gave us on earth is witchcraft? Like just let everybody who's listening, let that sit in for a moment. Go ahead.
There could be, I'll answer first and you'll answer the second, Butcher, if you want. It's one of those things where I'm not necessarily Christian, right? I'm not necessarily religious, but I love and respect every religion, right?
Same here.
When you read the Bible, you open it up, right, and you look up, let's say Ezekiel 47:12, right? It tells you that the herbs are for the healing.
Okay, Ezekiel 47:12, and I don't know the Bible that well. My husband does.
Yeah.
So, but that's why easy. Got it.
See what's going on?
Yeah.
So
it's okay. So may I read this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So fruit trees of all kinds will grow on both banks of the river. Their leaves will not wither, nor will their fruit fail. Every month they will bear fruit because the water from the sanctuary flows to them. So that's like, hold on. We need more. There's more to this that we need to read. I know that. Is there a part of this that I should be? Oh, here, it's very long. Okay, hold on. What part of this do you want me to run to here?
It should be like the last two sentences of it.
Okay. Let me show it online. Well, because I always quote, you have to treat your body as a temple, right? Mm-hmm. That's is that 39:12, right? Your body. So our body's on loan to us, right? From God. Mm-hmm. It's not even ours. We just borrowed it, while we're here on earth. Okay, so here's the verse. Is there
the last sentence? First one.
First one. So their fruit will serve. Oh, thank you. Their fruit will serve for food and their leaves for healing. Thank you. Love this. Now I get it. People. So anybody who it's a God job. It's a God job. It's the frequency of God. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but that's the reason why it's almost that disassociation with, you being connected to the ground, to the earth, to the trees, to the, to your surroundings. They want you, and I don't necessarily say, I don't want to speak, as if there's a they that we don't know or a they that we all know, right? But it's more so like to get you disassociated with things around you and other people around you would cause that imbalance or that dis-ease in the mind. So if you have the dis-ease in the mind, you got to have it in the body too, right? Because it can't exist just in one place. So yeah, it's to disassociate you with nature. That's it. It's like as if your body's not made from nature, as if it's made in a lab. It's not made in a lab.
Well, they are trying now to make it in a lab, and they have, just so you know. It's not pretty. And we have organizations that have been fighting for us, like the Lions for Natural Health and the Organic Consumers Association, who've all been on the show, who are fighting for our right to natural health, because it is a fight. So for those who are listening, we've got, Andrew on, Charles Key. Charles, thank you for piping in again. So grateful to have you here. Naima, Chris, and Teddy. So we have more on different platforms, but if natural health is important to you, support the Lions for Natural Health, right? And support the Organic Consumers Association and the EWG Environmental Working Group, all these places that are supporting our rights, not only for natural health, but that these companies aren't dumping their toxins right, into our water supply, which then feeds the plants.
Mhm.
You want to talk about that at all? I mean, I know you know about this because I've seen your videos, and I seen you both. Like you're in Whole Foods and you're navigating that store and showing people like I do. I'm like, this is a kindred spirit. Go for it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we unfortunately we live in a world of convenience. Anytime you have industrialization, you know, and I would say hyper capitalism, not necessarily capitalism because there's levels to it. But whenever you have, you know, you're really trying to stretch that dollar, trying to produce. Well, you're now being put in a state of convenience
Mm-hmm.
where everything has to be convenient because in order to make a lot of money, life has to be convenient. Typically, you go to a third world country. I've lived in Egypt, I lived in Jamaica, and stuff like that, where things are slower. Economy's not as booming, right? Because they're closer to they're not as convenient. They don't have as much money. So the more money of the richer a country is, typically in a capitalistic state, it's gonna have that byproduct, right? That of our food being less nutrient dense,
Mm-hmm.
all right? Because how do you now go farm your own food, pick your own fruit from the tree, cut your own, if you eat meat, cut your own cow, slaughter your own cow, raise your own goats, like in Jamaica. Like, how do you do all this stuff and then still find time to work and make money, right? Because in a world or utopian world, what you would have is a situation where people would make food instead of make money to buy food, right? You
Right.
skip the process. So
And have a barter system, right?
and have a barter system. But now you would have to dismantle a system where it's been proven on this side, right, to work. Or even on a communist socialist side, like China, they're they're super industrial as well. So it's not like they're doing good for the economy either. So, I don't know which one would be more profitable. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be some third system, right? More like a bartering system, something like that. But then how do you equate? Does three apples equate to one banana? Right? So you can chime in whenever you want to, Montre.
Yeah, it gets tough, and you bring up a good point. I think it's where we're living in now. We just went through a technological boom, right? And we enter into this new tech space, and I think now we're in a tech race, right? And labs trying to produce things that mimic nature. And Len said it earlier, the social dissonance with nature. And so the further they remove you from that social relationship with nature, then there's a disassociation with what actually serves you versus what doesn't, because that's being mimicked through the lens of technology, GMOs, all these different things that they produce in the labs. And so whenever you never have never challenged the status quo and like, oh, like, no, like, putting a authorization on like, hey, we're going to boycott this, we're not going to buy this, then you can't really control the algorithm, you can't really control the supply, because if supply is going to always be there, however your demand should change based off what your status quo and things that you believe. But if you don't have a foundation where people are already socially connected with nature, then it's going to be easily to continue to affect the people because you're in control. However, you go to Caribbean places or environments or economic places that aren't fully developed in that technological aspect. So their bread and butter is going out to find these nutritious foods in order to put on their plate to serve their families and their entire community. But however, here convenience is a thing, and so people don't care about the power of food and fuel and minerals and things that you could naturally get if you're in Peru. The water, it has natural electrolytes and other minerals that the body needs, or getting it from, you know, just all these other things. So, I think it plays a part in terms of what are our standards and foundations for nutrition. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people are searching for that because we've never been socially. My parents personally have never been socially connected, or even knew what herbs were, or even knew like what were the proper fruits and vegetables in order that you shouldn't take, and actually knowing the science behind them. We know the science behind music, all these other things that are scientifically relevant to our lives, but food is the foundation. It's one of the gods, or one of the natural doctors that Lance talks about, one of the seven. And so if you're not really in tune with yourself in these aspects, then when an authority implements something, you're not going to even challenge it. You're going to just accept it. So you become gullible.
That's the status quo. Can't imagine that ever happening.
Yeah.
Really, guys?